For 30 years, Resident Evil has morphed into a series constantly reinventing itself, starting from its humble beginnings as a fixed-camera survival horror to breaking that mold with the introduction of third-person over-the-shoulder survival action and resurrecting the franchise with its first attempt at first-person survival horror. Each new entry not only adds to the series, it also redefines the series, and Resident Evil Requiem carries this torch by offering two distinct gameplay styles, merging the franchise's classic format and its modern format with selectable difficulty features, and interweaving its two main characters into one unified scenario at the cost of overindulgence. In Requiem, you play as Grace Ashcroft and the nation's #1 savior of young blonde white girls, Leon S. Kennedy. An investigation into the Renwood Hotel lands Grace the victim of a kidnap by this Dr. Drakenberg cosplayer known as Victor Gideon, who is the director of the first section's location, Rhodes Hill Care Center. The gameplay structures itself by alternating between the two protagonists, formatting their character sections accordingly to the series' evolution over the years. Grace's attempt to escape by finding 3 quartz stones throughout the care center, whose layout totally doesn't remind you of the Spencer Mansion, thrusts players into the classic survival horror experience.
What a mess!
Where she is a greenhorn in the middle of an infected slaughterhouse that would love nothing more than to serve her up for dinner. Resources like bullets are scarce, so fighting zombies head-on with Grace can be rough with an extra ugh at times. But you can use the crafting system to your advantage by crafting more bullets or useful items like the hemolytic injector, which I personally love using as a stealth weapon to sneak up on certain zombies and even defeat certain special zombies that will drop special items upon their defeat. Confronting zombies challenges a newcomer like Grace to pick her battles wisely, even if it means exploiting these zombies' habits. For Leon, it's just another Tuesday for him to practice his roundhouse kicks. The switch to Leon maintains the player's engagement by how much of a contrast Leon's heavy-hitting, and I mean literally heavy-hitting, sections are to Grace. A portable arsenal of weapons, a repairable hatchet that enables stealth attacks and finishers, throwables. Leon's sections really hone in on Leon's evolution as a character, from a babyface cop starting his first day at Racoon Police Department to a one-man army, purposefully expanding upon the over-the-shoulder action style genre as popularized by Resident Evil 4, another Leon-focused game. One-liners, of course, included.
I do have a question. When's the last time you brushed your teeth?
And for those of you whose favorite Resident Evil might be 7 or Village, do not worry. The game nods to these two by giving you the choice to play both Grace and Leon in first-person POV. Wait, what was that? You're a Resident Evil 5 or 6 fan? Well, I'll just say we didn't enter the Racoon City ruins solely to sightsee doo-doo brown dilapidated buildings. This game is damn near the ultimate Resident Evil game, yet it's what I don't like about the game. The first half, going back and forth between Grace and Leon, is the strongest part of the game. Playing as Grace honestly captivated me, and it doesn't help that her voice actress did a phenomenal job capturing the mannerisms of the average non-military trained person thrusted into zombie apocalyptic bullshittery.
Mom, I'm scared.
No. We need to find a way out of here now.
But we don't have any of our stuff,
We
Mom.
can come back for it later, Grace.
I'm like, I felt myself growing just as afraid, terrified, and immersed in getting the hell out of this hospital as badly as Grace wanted to. I also witnessed and felt proud of the character development Grace actually goes through, steeling her nerves to brave the underground section and confront this giant abomination known as the Girl in order to rescue and protect Emily. Honestly, it got to a point where the initial sigh of relief Leon's sections were giving me at first from the horrors of Grace's sections turned into irritability the more I got invested into Grace's sections. While Leon's sections reminded me he's a beautiful reincarnation of Rambo who can easily clean these zombies up like it was nothing, Leon's sections also made me realize that I just might enjoy the thrill of being scared shitless and conquering that fear more. That can't be all that was down here. Simply cannot be. I'm gonna say really that was it and then watch something just like pop up out of nowhere. I swear. I am on like red alert. What the f- And as much as I wish I was exaggerating about Leon, the Racoon City section really brings home Leon's one-man army image by making you survey this pseudo-open world area of Racoon City only as Leon in order to activate the generators so you can access the middle of Racoon City. Unsurprisingly, the Racoon City section was not my favorite part of the game at all. The constant fighting of various hordes of zombies across numerous buildings honestly was exhausting and dragged itself longer than I would have liked it to. Also, it seemed like the game tried to compensate how OP old man Leon felt at the care center by ramping up the toughness of the zombies throughout Racoon City to the point I started to feel an imbalance of difficulty that continues into the final section of the game. Like, really? The zombies somehow know how to aim and fire mortar exactly where I'm at. I gotta fight a privately owned mercenary team. Who the hell decided that fighting not one, not two, not three, but 6, yes, Satan himself reincarnated, 6 lickers in one room would be fun? Alright, this game is full of shit. Of course, the reward for tackling these areas and monsters are CP points that allow for you to purchase and upgrade better weapons, but still, it's pretty ridiculous and somewhat lazy that for the latter half of Leon's sections, the combat is just outnumbering Leon while Leon fights his way through multiple groups of enemies while mogging. And to be honest, I preferred the more isolated 1v1 boss fights like the spider, the underground tree, and my favorite part of the Racoon City section and favorite boss battle, going back to Racoon Police Department and running into an old friend who certainly did not hesitate to remind me that we are indeed not friends. And the final section of the game within the arc continues the middle section's laziness because in true Resident Evil fashion, the plot melts into a confusing puddle of meat that would put a defeated Chunk to shame. The reason why everyone gathered in his funky hospital eventually migrates over to Racoon City is because Victor Gideon believes Grace is the key to unlocking Elpis. Elpis is Oswald Spencer's final project. However, only Spencer knows the secret behind Elpis at this point in time, and it's the mystery of what Elpis is that has shadowy figures like Dr. Gideon and Zeno, an operative of the Connections and totally doesn't look like a Wesker cosplayer, under the assumption that Elpis is this super powerful virus that grants the ability to mind control. The way these two talked about Elpis with such secrecy made even me curious in theory crafting along the way of my playthrough on what powers or abilities Elpis could be, how young girls like Emily and the dolls in Emily's backstory section are possibly experimented on to see if they can harness whatever the supposed powers of Elpis are supposed to be. It didn't help that some of the notes you picked up really leans into the rumors and conspiracy theories of how Elpis could be put to use as this powerful virus. But time and time again, Capcom reminded me that my theories are way too detailed and complex for what's expected from a story written by Capcom.
Expect disappointment and you will never get disappointed.
In actuality, Elpis is an antivirus that doubles as Spencer's atonement for all of the fucked up alphabetical viruses unleashed within the Resident Evil universe. It's as clear as day that this revelation serves to complete the 30-year story of Spencer and the ABC viruses. Even the title of the game, Requiem, hints at 9 being the finality of Racoon City's story, closure to the city's 30-year history before possibly moving on. Still, it's ridiculous that for a man so hell-bent and claiming to be a god himself, this cure-all is supposed to give him some sort of a redemption arc. As someone who has a general idea of the Resident Evil lore, all I could do is just stare at the final section, what the fuckingly, and the confusion sinking further into the crevices of my brain and giving the game 2 endings. What was the reason? That really just felt like they put 2 endings because, well, we have 2 characters, so let's just shoehorn another ending. 2 endings was so unnecessary, and the ending that I would prefer not to talk about is so anticlimactic. You can easily tell that not even Capcom considers this to be a valid ending. And if that's the case, then what's the point of putting it in the game? All in all, Requiem is a great game. The devil is certainly in the details of how much it tries to tie up many of the series' loose ends and branching stories before wiping its hands clean with Racoon City. The diverse and engaging gameplay and characterization of both Grace and Leon is a testament to Capcom knowing what people expect from a Resident Evil game. But the delivery and execution falters at times from incorporating way too many elements to the detriment of the game's pacing, and certain sections feeling like a slog to progress through on a first playthrough before you get to unlock post-game perks that can make the second playthrough and further on much more of a cakewalk. Regardless, I hope this review mutate and turn you into a zombie. And if you're still amongst the living and would actually like to see me review more Resident Evil games, you can actually click on this video displayed and will take you to my review video of the very first Resident Evil game I actually mustered the courage to complete, which is Resident Evil 1 HD Remaster. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Until the next review, stay safe, stay healthy, peace.